That could never be me, because whatever she's talking about, I am 4 or 5 times that size. It was identification by way of a penis.
Summer scorching hot, burning up. Anywhere me go, the girls turning up. Yeah, yeah. And when the journey rough, can't stop me no earning up. Summer scorching hot. Woo! Aye, welcome one and all to another episode of Ask Tamo J. This is yours truly, Tamo J himself. And if you missed last week's episode, go check it out right now. We had a very special guest and a very wild and crazy time with none other than Milk. People, Milk and Tequila duo mix. Go check it out right now and see what I'm talking about. Now, today on Ask Tamo J, episode 4. You know, we couldn't go normal, right? We have none other than the man himself, the myth, the legend, the great Sir Christopher Townsend. Woo! Jenna Storm. Woo!
Big up yourself.
Jenna Storm boss.
All right.
What's up? We outside.
Yeah, man, we're outside, man. Lovely to be here, Tamo. Thank you for extending the invitation
Most
to
definitely.
me. Yeah, man.
And thanks for making the time, because I know your schedule is extremely.
Yeah, but you know, we have to make time for big artists like yourself, you know?
Aye.
Yeah, man. Big
Yeah,
up
man,
yourself.
Jenna Storm. We outside, people. Zaga. Well, I've gotten that question several times. I won't lie to you, the first time I went to Beanie Man's studio and I saw a picture on the wall and I saw myself, I was a bit shocked, you know. I was like, no, mommy, you got to do some explaining, because this man is clearly of relation. But to be honest, Beanie Man is not related to me. I'm not related to Beanie Man. But I mean, I guess it's good musical genes. You understand? The creative gods have granted us some resemblance.
You mean him favor you?
Pretty much. But big up the Dr. Beanie Man every time. And we do look alike. I've got that a lot. We do look alike. Zaga. Funnily, one of the most popular questions I get from females is how me get me hair so stiff. I get to stand up so. But how it formed, it was actually free-formed. I don't do anything to it. I don't comb it. I mean, I wash it and I keep it clean. I groom it. But it's just energy. It's eccentric. It's out of this world. It's crazy. It's unique. So
It's Tamo J.
yeah, you know, it's different. How I sleep with it, there's nothing special. I mean, anyway, my head drop, you know, outside.
So do you put on a thingy like
A tam? No, man, no wave cap, no stocking, none of that. All natural or all organic. You understand?
That's guy your bed.
Yeah, man.
So doesn't it bother you? I mean, you
Not at all. No. Actually, when I'm in cars, sometimes I have to, when I'm in the Porsche, you know, you know, we drop the top and we come out. But no problems at all, man. Because once I step in a room, aye. So, as much as we are on Ask Tamo J, enough about me. We have a very special and important guest today, Sir Christopher Townsend. And I want to know personally, and the viewers would love to know, how did you get involved in music? Coming from law, how did the two merge?
Well, Tamo, from at a very young age,
Yeah.
when I decided that I wanted to do law, so from about age 10 or so, and I started to plan my life and, you know, how I'm going to progress in life. I have spent 20 years
Wow.
achieving my accolades in law.
In law.
And so now I'm transitioning to my next life, which is music.
Music.
Both of them, they've always been my passion. And so as I close the door in terms of the achievements in one passion, and I'm opening up the door in relation to the others. What happened to me too is that I had the opportunity of defending quite a number of musicians, and so that kind of segued me into music, because in defending them, you know, you had to meet with them, etc.
Start to get into the entertainment industry. Yeah.
See how music worked, and I met quite a number of persons.
Network with a lot of musicians.
In the music industry. Some serious musical moguls, musical, you know, serious artists, international artists. And so I decided, you know what? My dreams are coming true in the fashion and at the stage of my life that I want them to. And so It is
So
time
right.
to embrace it. If your dream coming knocking on your door, man, embrace it.
Yeah, man,
So
that is
that's
true.
what I did. So I am segueing now into music as I close one chapter of my life and open up another one.
Awesome. Now, for the people that don't know, what is Jenna Storm?
Jenna Storm. Jenna Storm is a label
Yes.
that I started a few years ago. It's a label that I started with me and my daughter.
Jenna Storm Productions.
Jenna Storm Productions. That is Anika Townsend. She shares the passion for music with me, and so it's an opportunity to do something with to one of your kids.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids.
Yeah, awesome.
So she's also a lawyer.
Oh, nice.
And she shares.
So it's in the family.
It's in the family.
It's in the family.
So and she has the desire and drive for music
As well.
So I say, you know what? Make us start something then.
Why not?
Since we're on a similar path,
Why
let
not?
us see where it goes.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
So that is how Jenna Storm came about. The name Jenna Storm, it's a fusion of 2 names, 2 concepts that I came up with. I remember doing a case with a particular attorney that people say I was sharing the limelight with. And after the case, both of us were in the case, which was a rare occasion for both of us being in the case.
On the same case.
On the same case. And so I was successful with 2 of my clients who were in the case.
Yeah.
And I went, after I was successful, I got them off at no case. I went back into the case to represent somebody else in the case, and we eventually won the case in its entirety.
His greatness.
And so as I was leaving the courtroom, the officers in the court start whispering, "One Jenna, one Jenna."
Yeah, man, one Jenna.
so that's why I got the name
Ultimate
Jenna.
greatness. Yeah, man.
Jenna. And friend of mine, she's now a judge. Her son's name is Storm.
Okay.
Right? And I always love the name. And she said,
Storm.
"So why you don't come up with a?" I was talking to her about the naming the
Production.
company, and she said, "Why you don't name it Storm?" So I said, "You know what? Let me fuse the 2 together."
Jenna Storm.
And that is how Jenna Storm was born.
Aye.
Lightning and thunder.
No, people, it's gonna be a storm around here. So, I mean, we know that you're one of the top lawyers in Jamaica.
So
One of
people
the
say.
elite. No, man, trust me. Greatness speaks for itself. You're the Jenna, you know.
All right,
You're the
boss.
Jenna. Now, we know a few entertainers that you've worked with. Maybe people might know for Elephant Man, but for those who don't know, name a few of the artists that you've represented legally.
Well, Elephant Man. I have represented Munga.
Oh yes,
I'm
Munga.
representing
In the
Munga.
top, big up Munga.
I've represented Capleton.
Oh yes,
I've represented Twins of Twins.
Wow.
I've represented Mr. G.
Wow.
I've even represented the 15-star general.
15 stars.
5-star general. 15-star general. What's his name again?
Bounty Killer?
No, man.
Oh, wait.
Him call
L.A.
himself
Lewis?
L.A. Lewis. L.A. Lewis. I represented L.A. Lewis at one point.
She was an artist who never really accounted.
I've represented, of course, some female artists. I've represented Spice.
Spice, yes.
I've represented The Angel, just to name a few.
I have some very interesting questions because these are our
And
entertainers.
Bounty Killer, how could I?
The 5-star himself.
Yes, how
Cross.
could I forget
Henry.
Bounty Killer?
Big up yourself in a general, you know. So seeing that this is not a normal episode of Ask Tamo J, and we're there with the Jenna Storm boss himself, we have to create a segment, right? Now this section is called Curious Cases of Christopher Townsend. Because personally, I want to know what going with Killer and the Hammer. Cross.
All right, that was a very unusual case.
Very interesting.
Of course, I
Big up Bounty
can't
Killer
give,
first and foremost.
give a lot of details about my instructions.
Yes, which is
but
fine.
suffice it to say, we were successful in getting the case disposed of without Bounty Killer being injured legally
Or imprisoned.
But the curious thing about it that I found was that the complainant, when you read her statement and the beatings of the hammer that
mercy.
she said that she received, when she came to court, we didn't see much of a scratch on her. So we wondered what kind of hammer did bounty killers did she say that he used? What kind of hammer is it that hit you several times in the head, face, etc., but you're still not demonstrating a scratch on you? And so, you know, sometimes when people make these kinds of allegations, they need to think about it and or don't make them if it's not the truth. And of course, what it did, there are other women around who are suffering from abuse, from abusive relationships. From abusive relationship. This wasn't one of them, but yet still you say these things and you put them in the public space for an artist, against an artist. And so artists have to be very, very careful, extremely, with who it is that they connect with. Certainly, there was also another one with recently with Capleton. Yes, where Capleton was accused of sexually assaulting. Yes, I heard about that one. A lady, and we found it very unusual. In this instance, we had to hire our own investigators, and when it is that we turned up with certain information, for example, and this is out there, for example, it was complained of that the whole room was stirred up when you read the statement, but when it is that we took statements from the hotel manager, there was nothing wrong with the room any at all. Mercy. There's no damage at all to the room. So, you know, that kind of obvious fabrication, right? Yeah. And so, you know, artists have to be very, very careful with who it is that they connect to. You know, if you're not careful, you'll come and see me. But the good thing is, we're sure for the victory. So I want to know another curious case. You mentioned The Angel. Oh. Recently, I think we all heard about The Angel and the OnlyFans and the leaking of her content. Now, personally, I have a little question for you ask you still. You saw the content? I saw the content, yes. I didn't Did see she leak it? Or was it leaked? Did she leak it? My instructions are very clear. She did not leak anything at all. And so I want to make that clear. Very clear. What you put out there, especially as it relates to cyberspace, you have to be very, very careful. Yeah. It can certainly come back and bite you in the ass. No pun intended. But that saga is still ongoing, but it's on its way to closure. It's still an open case. It's still ongoing, but it's coming to closure now. So another curious case that I would love to know about. The twins of twins. I don't know, Rasta. I know about the case. I don't know. All right. Twins of twins, a very simple case. One of their entourage accused them of stealing money from him or from them. Entourage thing can be dangerous. Yes, entourage thing can be dangerous too. But they in that case, we won it on a legal point, on a technicality. Okay. Now, my instructions are, of course, it was ridiculous. It was something like $30,000 or something like that. Dub money. Yeah, which is less than dub money. But of course, the police got a complaint, so they had to act. Yeah, they had to. Yeah. From your fire. We felt that it was malicious, but the technicality that I got them off on is that he says that it's one twin, that one of the twins that had actually stolen the money. But the problem is that he couldn't tell which one. I don't know, Rasta. I don't know, Rasta. So I made the submission to the judge that, judge, at the very least, you're having one of these persons before the court illegally, because there's a problem with identification. He cannot identify which twin. So therefore, both have to walk. Miss. Right? So on that technicality, we were able to throw the matter out of court. Right, so that was a nice and easy one. Yeah, that sounded cool. But the funny thing is, one of the funny thing is that they were placed in jail before appearing before court. So both of them were in custody. And I remember going to them. At the time, the career was kind of flattening out a little bit because we weren't hearing much about them. And I said to them, look here, you probably need to stay in that jail 2 more days, because boy, you know, a surge out there. Hot newspaper, haven't you? And that is when they actually came out with their hits. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's 11 and a half something or the other.
Oh yes, they did start.
Right, they did something after that about being in custody, etc. And then that went to that hit. So they capitalized upon their experience being in custody and of course being accused wrongfully.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the material that they gather from there was excellent. As I tell everybody, you know, everything happened for a reason.
Yeah, man. Real life is the best content.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Everything happened for a reason. So Twins of Twins, that saga ended fairly.
That's good to hear. The most interesting of all, you know, I forgot Sizzle right now. We cannot talk about Sizzle. Because I'm going to look for your Sizzle, Christopher Townsend, you understand? Because Sizzle do all heap of things, you know. Sizzle get kids with good, Sizzle do so much things. Sizzle come off a tour and fly through the airport like say, him alone in Jamaica. So talk to you about Sizzle.
All right. So,
Elephant Man.
So I've represented the Elephant Man. This is the second time I'm representing him. Well, there have been several occasions actually. Not some of them are not so. They weren't publicized. But the two that are most public was the one with when the cameras are said to have caught him with a firearm in his hand. That one was fairly simple because the truth and in fact is, you know, it is very difficult to prove a firearm from a picture.
Footage.
Yeah, because you don't know. You don't know whether or not it's a real firearm. That's one.
That's true.
And the truth is, you don't know whether or not it's Photoshop. And what happened is that you'll recall a couple of days after another clip was released with somebody else holding the gun. Same clip, same everything, but somebody else. So yeah, it can be spliced. And so I made that point very, very early in the day that can be done. And so perhaps somebody heard me and they proved it.
Digitally manipulated.
That it can be done. Digitally manipulated. So the police, of course, having seen the second video, they lost interest in the case. Let us put it that way.
Yeah, because that must be confusing.
Yeah, that must be confusing to them, and it was. So, and it demonstrated that really and truly, well, they never had a case from before, but certainly as it relates to Elephant Man and his credibility and his, you know, it brought across the fact that as an artist, you have to be careful.
Extremely.
Your image and everything can be manipulated.
Yeah, the brand, exactly. That is true.
So it ended well for him.
So Sizzle good.
This other one with the airport, that is still ongoing, so I can't say much about that.
Okay, that's an open case.
That's an open case. But I've received some instructions and I've asked for some footage from the airport. That has been very long in coming, which is an issue that we have made public, in that it can take a year for me to get a footage from the airport.
That's from the CCTV.
From the CCTV.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can't take a year because this is really at your fingertips. So me wanna know when it comes.
Sound like it exists?
No, if it exists, when it comes, if them are gonna pull something like where somebody has pulled
digital manipulation at its finest.
So I hope that the state wouldn't do that, but you never know.
Yeah.
You know, individuals act on behalf of the state, so you never know. But we're waiting on it, and it is still pending before court, so I can't say anything more about that.
Okay. Boy, those cases are so fascinating and interesting. Trust me. Boy, La, what I want to know though, personally, what is your most interesting case, or the most interesting case that you've been a part of?
There have been quite a few.
I'm sure.
Well, 20 years out.
Right? Two decades, that enough people.
One that jumps to mind is a rape case that I did some time ago. Gentleman was accused of raping this young lady, in that he came into her house, in her apartment, what appeared to be an invitation to come in.
So he wasn't that stranger?
He wasn't a stranger.
Okay.
Right? I won't give you the details because
You just want some clarity.
Yeah, I have to kind of protect the people. But she gave a description of his organ. And when we took instructions, the man said, no, that could never be me. Because whatever she's talking about, I am 4 or 5 times that size.
Mercy.
So it was identification by way of a penis.
Oh, mercy.
So
Set him free.
So when the trial was during the trial,
This is interesting.
it leaked, the information leaked that part of my defense was to have him take out his penis and show it to the jury that
In the
it
courtroom?
could never be him, that the penis that she's describing is not the penis that he has. So therefore it could never be him. And his size could not be mistaken for the size that she's talking about. Right? So of course, man upset. The man, no, mama bigger than that, man offended. And so in that case, when I went into the courtroom the morning, I saw half of the DPP's office over there, half of the women over there sitting there, ready and waiting for this man to pull out his penis and show it to the jury. They say, no,
I know me that.
it wasn't me. I am bigger than that.
It wasn't me.
Luckily, we never had to go so far.
I was about to ask.
No, we never had to go so far. I had sufficiently destroyed the complainant in my cross-examination. And so the prosecutor threw in the towel. So my client's member and penis remained where it was. He never had to.
He was safe.
He was safe. He never had to fork it out and show it to the jury.
Mercy.
I suspect some of the jurors there were disappointed, to say the least.
High hopes.
Yeah, I hope. So that was one of my most interesting,
Yeah,
my most interesting
that is
cases.
interesting. That
and
is
of course he enjoys liberty and the use of his penis where he wants to use it. It's not restricted now.
That?
Yeah,
If my penis would have saved me in a court, people, God bless it. God bless it. Trust me.
Yes.
No, that is very interesting, and I like you. Big up all the artists that we spoke about. All of them, because these are my colleagues and peers. And personally, what I would love to know, Mr. Townsend, if an entertainer like myself, who is not a troublemaker, gets into trouble, runs into trouble with the law, what's the first recommendation from the Jenna Storm boss himself?
First recommendation is for you to shut your mouth and to get in touch with your attorney immediately. 9 times out of 10, when it is that people get into trouble, is because they're trying to explain things and sometimes it may even go so, right? But because you are in shock, you say things that sometimes the prosecution use against you. So, and people say it on TV all the while, shut him out until your lawyer come.
True.
So you shut him out, get in touch with your lawyer, preferably me.
Hey,
Get in touch with your lawyer.
we're looking for victory here.
You talk to your manager and tell him, say, yo, it's time to take out the war chest, full the war chest with money because we're going to battle.
To court.
Your lawyer needs sustenance.
So, I open and listen very keenly. Trouble mean money.
And to tell the truth, some of these artists who are getting themselves into trouble, it's ridiculous. Yeah, you don't need to be in that kind of a trouble. You're on your way up, right? You are doing things, you're going places.
You're the breadwinner.
Right? You don't need to be traveling with guns, you don't need to have illegal firearms.
Yeah.
It is absolutely rubbish. Right?
Crazy.
And then you move with this large entourage. Some of them are criminals, but you think that you need around you. You don't.
That's just more trouble.
That's just more trouble for you. And it is also very expensive.
So, you heard it from the lawyer's mouth himself. Trouble not set like rain. So you see, if you don't have your trouble money, you keep out a bumbuckler trouble, brother. Because it's not cheap. You understand? Good. So we've come to the end of another episode of Ask Tamo J. And people, it is getting more and more interesting. So you know what I want you to do? Follow me on all social media platforms. Share the content and make sure everybody hear the content. So be sure to follow @TamoJ Official on all social platforms. Support the youth on Patreon because I'm going with some exclusive things. That youth is me, Tamo J. Woo! And don't forget to tune in next week. You understand? Now, this was a very, very, very interesting episode. Mr. Christopher Townsend, give thanks. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making the time because I know you're shut down on normal.
Yeah, man, thanks.
Yeah, man, we give thanks.
It was a pleasure.
We give thanks. So until next week, stay safe and walk good. Woo! Aye.
Some scotchy nuts burning up. Anywhere me go, the girls turning up. Yeah, yeah. And when the journey rough, can't stop me no earning up. Some scotchy.